Good evening and welcome to City Pulse. Artificial intelligence is no longer the future, but the present. Some are calling it the biggest existential threat to humanity. Others are more positive. What is undeniable is that already it can beat us at chess, it can translate language in real time, it can drive our cars. The question is, are we building a friend or a foe? Here on The Rock, Targ Patience is one of the thought leaders in artificial intelligence. He heads the Gibraltar Association for New Technologies, and in part 2, we'll find out how Gibraltar is preparing for this global revolution. Lots to get through between now and then, all things topical with our contributors, David Revagliate and Paul Perez. ¿Cómo estamos?
Muy bien.
Very good. You were just saying that apparently your second name is quite difficult to...
Yes.
I'm not seeing this.
What do you mean?
Revagliate. Apparently people struggle with it.
Lots of people struggle with it, and they have for years. Obviously in the UK, you always have to spell it out. But no, here no, porque se conoce. But yeah, some people struggle with pronouncing it. Se quedan ahí.
Perez somewhat simpler.
Yeah.
Well, in the UK, it's Perez. Try and posh myself up a little bit there, but no, it's basic.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
How was it for you guys?
Fantastic.
Quiet,
Sí.
tranquilo New Year's Eve, yes? Or?
It was... No, we went out on New Year's Eve, so it was good. We went out for dinner. It was quite tranquilo Christmas, but it was a good New Year's Eve. See, and I can't complain. I think the weather afterwards, though, during New Year's Eve and then the days after, but literally heavy. So it was like just Netflix, relax, you know.
I was watching Casemates from the comfort of my uncle's sofa, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm indoors. But then a little quiet voice inside my head thought, I'm actually a little bit envious of them, in serio. Like, the fun half of my brain was like, that actually looks really cool, man. Like,
I had to be held back. I wanted to go to Casemates,
Yeah.
and my family was like, there's no chance. You are not going there. And I was like, I really want to. People are enjoying it. They're having a great time. Join in.
speaking of a great time, the Three Kings lottery winners, congratulations to the...
The eye department.
The eye department.
we were trying this before. But congratulations, eh?
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things in Jib that I love, no? When it comes to big prizes like this, you find out generally who wins. No? I think it's nice to hear that a department has won it and shared the prize.
I'm gutted because
Amazing.
my friend group was supposed to win it. We were actually the deserved winners, but it just never...
I think you're wrong there. Could it be me, eh?
We've just seen the winning ticket there, the GHA ophthalmic unit. 18 group members splitting at £400,000. So Paul Perez, the teacher, quick maths, what's that?
Oh, not a maths teacher, sorry. But actually, we'll say well-deserved.
We'll ask AI afterwards.
Just a good idea.
Yes,
Hey.
yes, we'll ask AI.
Good idea. Really nice as well that they celebrated the win with churros, which is like just nice and kind of like...
So it wasn't too
Humble.
much then.
remembering their roots. No,
Qué bueno, churro. Qué bueno. And also from the Ace kiosk as well. Big shout out to them. They seem to get all the
Yeah.
winners.
Lately, they
I'm gonna
sold
get my
winning
ticket from there
tickets.
next time. Eh?
Are you guys doing veganuary? Have you ever done veganuary?
I've done it in the past. It was on a whim, a bit of a dare back when I was in the UK. Hard, very hard.
Yeah.
I like to have meat. I'm used to it. We have a very sort of like, a mixed diet in Jib. So for me, losing out on things like, I don't know, lomo or pepper steak. Pepper steak is a big thing for me.
Also, there seems to be, and some might disagree, but there seems to be, there's, to me, a big jump between vegetarian and vegan, like complicado vegan.
It's much harder. I mean, like, as a food teacher, a part food teacher in the school, like, we have to explain to the kids, and it's like everything from figs. They can't have figs if they're vegan because there's something called a fig wasp. So that means that straight out, it's off the menu now.
Really?
So things as simple as a fig become like the hardest thing. And for me, cheese. I can't live without cheese.
That's the one, eh?
I don't know how they do it.
No me lo creo. I was going to say to you, yeah, look, I did veganism for 2 months, no? But I ate figs, con que ya out the window.
Didn't do it right.
No one explained that to me.
Vegetarian.
Please don't tell anyone. I thought there's me, oat milk, megatonina, and everything else. Oat milk, swap everything else. And we go fig jam, and I'm
That's you done.
failing.
We should say, I mean, oat milk's a good example. Like vegan alternatives, like they're improving all the time. I think like it's fair to say. I actually prefer my tea and coffee with oat milk these days rather than
Same.
than
I can
regular.
remember when everything tasted of cardboard way back when it was a vegan alternative. Now it tastes good. Things are really, really tasty. Like, I know there's a lot of offerings in Jib now locally as well. At one point, there was nothing. All you could have was what? Chips and a side salad. That's all there was at one point.
Me acuerdo a comer en España once, and they had like the option for vegan was just lettuce and tomato on the menu, ¿no? Potaje incluso tenía black pudding y todo lo demás, aunque it's really, really tough. ¿no?
Sí.
Pero
Well, no, we thought we'd have a bit of fun
Vale.
with it being veganuary. So we're going to do a blind taste test, you guys. Vale? This is
brilliant.
vegan versus non-vegan snacks. But actually, let's just hold on just a second, because a YouGov poll, a recent YouGov poll, showed that over 12% of UK adults are giving veganuary a go this year. So we thought, well, no, what about in Gibraltar? We sent the production team's Lena down into town to find out.
It's vegan. It's vegan January. It's vegan. No, it's not vegan January. It's vegan. It's vegan January.
Nope.
It's veganuary. It's veganuary. Oh God, I said it right. Okay. I can't say the word, let alone actually doing it. So I've come to town to find out if you can.
At present, I don't. I was vegetarian for about 8 years. I find veganism quite difficult, but it's great if you can do it. Even if you can just do like a meat-free Monday throughout the year or something, I think it's good for our body, it's good for the environment. What's not to like?
I wanted to be vegetarian. Went back to England when I was 18. I literally went, nope, not doing that. You can have chicken. Thinking it was a vegetarian. That was it.
No, is the answer. But we do vegan meals sometimes. I'm not opposed to it.
No, I do not participate in veganuary. No, I don't. Yeah. However, I love vegan cuisine, so it's fine. Yeah.
I understand dry January because it's a bit more. I think there's more benefits there than a vegan diet, but that's me.
I wouldn't go vegan because I'm very picky with my food, and if I went vegan, I'd starve because I live on cheese. And I have tried vegan cheese, and it's not very nice.
Lives on cheese. How about that? Hats off to her. Okay, so round one of our vegan versus non-vegan blind taste test. Take it away, guys. You've got crisps.
right, okay.
Should we try the same one?
Just go for it.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go for this one first.
Yeah.
Yeah, more.
Let's go for a small.
Smelling it, tranquilo, dude. Tranquilo.
Potato.
Yeah? All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got sea salted crisps and then sea salted crisps.
Okay.
My question is, how do they become vegan?
One of them has milk in it.
What?
Go.
Vegan.
That has the milk in it.
The ones closer to you have
Yeah.
the milk in it?
Vegan.
All right, why not?
I'm going to be so competitive after
You're saying this is?
I'd say that's not a non-vegan.
You're saying it's...
vegan. Yes.
Vegan. Okay.
I'm just making competition because after the program where David came second, I want to beat him.
So,
My boss once told me never to eat live on air.
so does that mean that these have milk in them?
Yep.
With
Yeah.
potato and that?
Yeah. Okay, next round.
It's like
we
the fig
have
thing all over again.
yeah, we've got the juices
Yeah.
flowing. What's next? We got. Oh, here we go. Quesito.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow.
Vegan cheese versus non-vegan cheese.
Go for that one first.
Yeah, let's go for that one.
Poquito tapeo here on
Oh,
Did you hear that,
Thank you very
Nice,
much.
eh?
That's nice, yeah. First time, huh? Just saying. But well, it smells
got a
like
feel- I've
cheese.
got a
It
feeling
smells
with-
like cheese, yeah?
I've got a feeling with this one, this will be a bit more obvious, no?
Creo que sí.
This one less confusing.
Less confusing, let's say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Try this one. Venga.
Try that one as well, Robin.
Yeah, you might like it.
It's queso.
It's okay, so. I couldn't even stomach it.
Plastic?
Plastic.
It's not. It's
oof, that is.
It's tasty though. If you had like an alternative.
texture.
Yeah, it's the texture.
I think
It's
it's,
the
potency
texture.
Pero
as
si lo
well.
ponen en un sándwich o algo con un
It's the
poquito de
texture.
jamón.
I think fundido, maybe
That might work better.
there's a chance, no?
Yeah.
En un sándwich or whatever, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
You wouldn't notice so much. Pero
Yeah.
it's un queso one.
Okay, round
Right,
3.
right.
Oh.
This one, I'm hoping this will be the trickiest one to figure out. This is the one I'm most excited about. Can we have round 3, which are
Dessert, no?
chocolate chip cookies?
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, it's a pre-course, eh?
Toma ahí. Dig in.
Which one's going to be? I always think they're going to look different.
They don't
You know
look
what
any
I mean?
different.
They look.
Okay. They do, but they don't. I'm not
well,
sure.
it's-
We're going to go for this.
You think they look different?
I think there's something to it.
They smell like chocolate.
This doesn't.
This one, I've done this test before. I struggled with this one.
Yeah.
I'm
No?
not sure.
No.
I think that might be the vegan.
Are you sure? Final answer?
Not.
You think?
I'm 2 for 2. Perdón.
I think that might be the vegan. But I want you
Vegan.
I think I actually prefer that one.
You guys think this is the vegan one?
It's got no crunch, so it's vegan. For sure.
For
It
sure,
has
no?
to be. It has to be.
But I prefer I prefer this one. You
prefer the vegan one?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, no?
I apologize to the vegans out there. No.
It's worth saying because there's so much. It's what you said before. There's loads more options as well
Yes.
now in town for vegan food. There's a place in the arcade as well, Sam's.
Yeah.
Sam's Deli, very nice.
Sam's Deli.
Amazing. They do like
Falafel wraps, yes,
Falafel
so-
wraps, yes, son buenísimos.
Actually, I will say their food, you can't taste the difference.
I had at a friend's house
Korean.
a few weeks ago. I had a vegan hot dog. I'm not a vegan. I just did it like for science, no, just to kind of like just to like give it a go. La cosa como son. Like you in a hot dog, the bread is the bread,
Claro.
the mustard is the mustard. I don't think there was any fig in there. And so it was just the vegan sausage. And honestly, the texture is so real these days. You would never have known. I would never have known had I not been told, you know?
But
Claro,
it is a hot
think-
dog. So hot dogs are like mashed up anyway. You don't get that
there's not much
texture.
meat in
Yeah.
those sausages anyway.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's all these
Thank
additives.
you for the buffet, man.
No
Really
worries.
nice.
Yeah, no.
But I
Yeah,
think
it's
like
a
Beyond Burgers, stuff like that,
That's it,
those
that's
sort
it,
of
ahora.
burgers are the best part of
They're good,
vegans. Yeah, though, yeah. I would definitely say that the burger and the meat aspect, the fake meat, so they call it, they taste amazing.
But it's done to stop people eating so much meat, no? It's or for like
Of
climate
course.
change kind of reasons, no?
Of
Like,
course.
more than necessarily
Ethics.
dietary, so it's ethics. thing.
Absolutely. Let us know if you are partaking in Veganuary this year. CityPulse at gbc.gi. Time to fly the nest now, and this week we are going east.
Hi, my name is Dennis Carroll, born in the Rock of Gibraltar in 1951, shortly after the Denham explosion, so I came in with a bang. I've been living in Singapore since 1994. Singapore is a city-state, it's an island, well, it's a series of islands, but the biggest island, Singapore itself, is just 700 square kilometers. So some people say it's really small, but when people say that to me, I said, you don't know what small is. Come and see Gibraltar, and then you find out what smallness is. I've always been working in the marine industry, so when I moved here with the family, common sense said that I should try and find a job in the same industry, which I did. and I worked for the same company from 1994 till I retired in 2014. I keep in touch very much with Jib. I watch City Pulse every week religiously, so I know what's going on. And some of the personalities you have, like Cristina Galliano, I know well. Paul Lyons, I know well. You had a guy on a couple of weeks ago about prostate cancer, I think Elio Chevasco. Yeah? I know him as well, and some others, that you see on screen. So I look forward to watching it. And I have friends, including my cousin Patrick Mesud, who has a GBC connection. He said, oh, me entero de las cosas por ti en vez de por la televisión de Gibraltar, porque tú lo ves antes que yo. And other people that, so I do. I mean, I find it fascinating to keep up with the news and the rock, which some people may say, wow, why would you want to do that? But it is. It's a vibrant thing, and certainly, the politics for the size of the place is actually quite unique and interesting. You ask perhaps what I miss. Of course, family, which is not as big as number as it was when I first came back here, because some people have left us, but many friends. And walking down Main Street perhaps is something I miss, and being stopped, and people are generally so happy to see me, and likewise, Other things that I miss, the food, I guess, which is what everybody tends to say. But I try to cook a little bit myself, but it's never the same, After 32 years here, Singapore is home, one has to admit, They say that when you're coming home, when you land in a certain place and you have that feeling, I'm home, And today, that feeling I get here. But, my daughters are married, I have a grandson, so I'm very grounded here in Singapore.
How about that? Dennis Carroll, who left Gibraltar years and years and years ago. Interesting story as well, because we often talk about Gibraltar having been developed into a concrete jungle. We were speaking to Dennis off air, and when he first arrived in Singapore, however many decades ago, Singapore was not the Singapore of today. It was just sort of like shacks and markets and not much else kind of thing. And now it's kind of like one of the sort of big metropolises of...
It's a stunning place, though.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I guess what's the experience like for him living there, right? And the residents, when seeing everything going up around them. I always sometimes wonder that, when you're in a big city, like in the middle of these big skyscrapers, what it's like for the person on the ground. But I guess we'll find out, no? We're finding out.
What about this? Pete, I'm going to get some more cheese, because this...
real cheese.
I know, like, I've got a taste for it. What about the concrete jungle we call home, this one, and the rock falls? Like, it's just a feature of Gibraltar, so we're not going to sit here and moan. Like, it's a limestone rock.
Yeah.
Wind and rain, these things happen. But it's kind of scary.
Qué miedo.
It is terrifying. I look at the east side and I think all these buildings so close to the rock, and it only takes a rockfall and God knows what would happen. I know that there's structural engineers that really plan out and they plan for the worst case scenarios, but it depends on how big the rock is, you know what I mean? Like, depends on what falls, depends on the damage that it can make, and then you never know. So it always makes me really paranoid, these things.
I think it's more like the North Face, no? Like a few years ago, where was that? That big chunk of rock that actually fell, created a lot of damage, and that was the more noticeable than when you had the one that we had recently. But
that's the one. What we're seeing now is that footage from the most recent one, which again, I mean, look at that. And you've got a friend, no, who lives in that area?
Yes, and she's often said that when there's a storm or it's rainy or it's windy, they'll hear a lot of the small pebbles falling on the Nissan hats. Like,
oh my God.
So you'll hear it. So it's natural that the rock will do this, no? Pero yo pienso, how many people live there now? Is there a thing that when there is a storm like there was over Christmas or just after, can they do things precautionary? Can they shut the road off before this happens? I know you can't predict when this is going to happen, but it feels like for safety, because it always seems, maybe a lo mejor me estoy equivocado, but it always seems that it's a reaction afterwards. But is there a protocol that it happens before if you know there's going to be a particularly bad storm or there's going to be lots of rainfall, because that seems to be what triggers it.
And like you say, there's so many more people living in that area now in the last
Prams,
5, 10.
people taking their dogs out, or is there a place that when it comes to you tell people who live in that area, don't leave your house, or keep trips to a minimum, or try to not go near the rock if you can avoid it. I don't know, something that because at the moment we see this and you go, mira, no rocks en el suelo, pero luckily we haven't had any big accidents recently.
And there'll be people watching who perhaps live in Hassan Centenary Terraces or in that sort of general area. Would love to hear from you. citypulse@gbc.gi. Where's your head at when it comes to rockfalls and stuff? Does it just come with the territory? Do you get used to it over time? I'll be honest, every time, sort of post-wind and rain, post-storm, that I drive por ahí de Sir Herbert Miles Road, if I can avoid it, I do. It's just like a mild sense of paranoia. I cannot shake it. I can't shake it.
It's true. It's one of those things. It's like every time. And my thoughts are, we're developing the whole of the East Side. So all that reclamation, it's going to be more housing, more traffic, more of this. One of these days, something's going to happen. Like, I don't know, rockfall. I'm sorry to scaremonger. I am this person. For people who know me, I am a doomsdayer in a way. I always think something bad is going to happen. You've got to plan. So
every group needs a doomsdayer. We also need an optimist.
I've got bags ready and everything. I've got cans. I've got everything ready. I know where to hide.
Well, for rockfalls?
Not for rockfalls, but like, I don't know, apocalypse. Boom, I'm ready.
Yeah?
Pero with that, you can't plan. You know what I mean? We stuck so close to the rock.
Yeah.
You know, it's what we're dealing with. It's an everyday danger in a way.
I'm interested to know what else is in that apocalypse bag.
I'm going to have to bring it in one day.
Or, like, are you on cutlery and stuff? Or
I've got
cans,
everything.
like, just come
I have entertainment and everything. Board games, colouring, notebooks.
So maybe you need to be in charge of this thing of the rockfalls or whatever. People
Anything
need to
happens,
do,
I'll give out bags.
But on a serious note, Emil Ermida of Technical Services says that, you know, the safety precautions and stuff are up to scratch, and they are always constantly sort of looking to sort of upgrade and improve, and they do a great job of it. It's just a feature of the rock, no?
Yeah. Claro, no, it is. Of course, I'm sure there's loads of people who have it covered, no? Y yo diciendo que there could be more or preparation, pero it always feels a bit like if I was living in the area, me daría un miedo.
I'm sorry to
especially si está
scaremonger.
escuchando un poquito ahí the stones falling, no? It'd be interesting to see what viewers would think, and if they live there, if they don't see it in the way that I do. Cagao, mama.
Speaking of main features of Gibraltar at the end of an era, the farewell ride of the cable car, I was telling myself, do not miss out on, like a month ago, remember they did those kind of like free rides and stuff?
Yes, they did,
I said, Robin, don't you dare miss out. Take the kids, don't you dare miss out. Guess what I did?
You missed out.
I missed out.
I missed out too. I think my last trip on the cable car was probably 2 years ago, when my friends came over from UK and they showed, like, you know, the typical thing.
That's sort of tour guide it up.
Claro, because it was like the fastest way to get up there, a really nice way to see the top of the rock también, because it's really missed. But it's a really good experience, like, it's going to be missed. It was I think it opened in 1966.
Por ahí, yeah.
See, and it's been a hit ever since then. Okay,
we got some, look at that, man. Some old footage of the cable car from back in the day. Fun fact, by the way, the original cable car, as in the red cabin, is the current ticket office. And then they sort of just did a new one beside.
All right.
Nice.
Well, okay.
I didn't know that.
See, when you buy the tickets, that thing is that well, no, not anymore, no? It's like now all it will be. Maybe they're going to keep it for the new cable car.
Or for a museum, maybe.
So the cable car, as we know, it's a new and improved 21st century fit for purpose cable car, sort of, you know, in the works. A couple of years away, they say. Exciting, not for the sort of, you know, the tourist experience, and that really is one of the pillars of Gibraltar's economy, tourism. Yeah. So it can only be a good thing.
It can only be a good thing, pero it's the
you
fact
disagree.
That,
I disagree.
I'll get to you.
I'm going to agree. I think, look, it's as I said, we've got thousands and we've got millions of visitors that come into Gib over the years. I think last year they said that they had nearly 1 million people go on the cable car. So a lot of people come into Casemates and the first thing they ask for is the cable car because they've read about it and they know. So it's a really, really good thing. And I think it's good that it will be upgraded for the volume of the tourists. It's just what happens now. What happens now in this period of 2 years or however long this new cable car takes to be built? What's going to happen with those numbers?
What is the new tourist experience?
Yeah,
or
what's
sort
the
of passage up?
Or how are we going to get them up there? Because if we're looking
People
at...
can it take? I mean, the Rock it's a limited space. And the upper area, I don't know what it's called actually.
Monscalpe, no?
Monscalpe area, it's a limited space. So how many tourists are we expecting to push up there and hope that we can sell our rock? But we've also got to think about nature. We've also got to think about, I don't know how many each of these cars are going to take, but I know there's going to be a massive bump up.
Each cabin, we were talking about this before, I think its capacity is upping from 30 to about 80.
Yeah. I read somewhere that it's going from like they'd be able to take 260. They used to take 260 passengers an hour and they'll be able to take just under 1,100. So
an hour.
Our price.
An hour. So
it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
For me, it's
because
the
then what do we do
environmental
with
impact.
1,000 people up there as opposed to...
The environmental
200.
impact naturally is going to suffer. And we say it as much as we want. It's like, no, we're taking care of it. But we've got wildlife that shouldn't be disturbed. We've got fauna and flora that we're going to have destroyed, not because of the construction, but because of more tourism. Because places that are very tourist heavy have noticed that that's the first thing to suffer. Then we've also got other businesses that will suffer as well. Not saying that one business over another, but the taxi services, I've always known that. And every time my friends come over, rather than the cable car, I've taken them in the taxi. It's more entertaining. The taxi drivers are hilarious as well because they know the roads and they know the rock and they know the stories, so they can give you those anecdotal sort of aspects. But I just think that we're trying to do too much up there, and we should be looking like La Cueva. Let's do more with those. Like, I mean, they've just redeveloped the World War II tunnels. Let's do stuff like that betters it for the locals as well as the tourism. So there's things that can be done. I mean, the lighthouse could be a little bit better. There are places por ahí de Caleta that could be a little bit more beautified. Let's beautify it. Let's bring people in for those reasons. The old town in particular, we're putting money on the top of the rock. But ultimately, there's other things that we need to attract them with. And putting more tourists up there just means more destruction is how I see it.
Yeah.
Safety as well, maybe an issue. I don't know.
And look, this is not just to kind of like, sit here and moan on live TV. Kind of thing.
Sorry about that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm good at that.
But no, because for the next two years or so, what happens to, and perhaps there's already an answer. I might just be sort of late to the party. Wouldn't be the first time. But what happens to all the would-be parked cars in Grand Parade? Like that's a huge chunk of Grand Parade now inaccessible. And so a lot of people are wondering, actually, what happens now?
So yeah, I think I saw a plan. A big part of the Grand Parade is going. There is still going to be paid for parking también. So that's another thing, just from the tourist point of view. Is there going to be less parking? I don't know. Is there still going to be enough dedicated parking for them? Never mind about residents as well. So it's impossible. No tengo los answers para nada, and I don't want to come on here and
They should
moan.
incentivize because the tourist has to pay, if I'm not mistaken, £20 or £25 to enter the nature reserve.
£30.
£30. Yeah. They should incentivize them. Say if you come by foot, gratis.
You'd be losing money on that.
No, but I
But there
think
is a
there's
point.
some. No, but Robin, I just think that's a good idea. There is an idea in that. There is a discussion. If there is looking at what's the alternative plan to get so many visitors that come in expecting a cable car because it's been a hit with everyone that comes here. They might not have enough time to do a taxi tour. Their budget might be different. They might want to do that thing they can't do now. What are the alternatives for them? So. Walking tours, e-bikes, whatever that is, whatever the plan is, it should be encouraged as well. So maybe not free, but would you get a half-price ticket if you could walk up to the World War II tunnels? I did that on Saturday actually with Tina. She gave us a tour of the World War II tunnels.
Hola, Tina.
And if there was an incentive of saying, well, how did you get here? Did you walk or did you hire a bike? Or even if it was a small incentive of £5 or £10, that could still encourage the tourists to visit these attractions, but not Kind
I'll be honest. I live in the sort of area on the way up to the Upper Rock, ¿vale? So all my life I've had tourists walking up past my house. Whilst the cable car has existed, I've always been very impressed with how many tourists just decide to walk out. I don't know if that's because they're feeling particularly energetic, or they don't quite know the size of the task in front of them.
Oh.
And then
Yes,
I
I think it's a look at
excuse me, how long to the top of the rock? And I say, la verdad, do you want the honest answer?
Do you ever see them walking
You don't
down
wanna do this.
también? Está peleado. Why did we walk up here? Eso también.
Yeah.
Como cuando te va un hike and you're like, ¿cuánto el hike? I don't know, 8 kilometers, and it's like 10 and a half, and you're like, te pelea al final.
Yeah. So it'd be lovely to get maybe Mandy Guerrero, a couple of the Guerrero family members on the show, perhaps, if you're watching, open invitation to talk about, because it's a lovely story, you know, from when it first came to Gibraltar in the mid-60s and all the rest of it.
And it's a positive thing. I think the change itself, I see it as largely positive. It's just what happens now? What's the plan for
I'm hesitant.
all of these growing number of tourists that the minister wants to get in through the doors this year? How are they going to see the top of the rock? And the taxis are great, but are there enough taxis to serve them? Is it going to be more traffic at the top of the rock? I have so many questions.
I'm hesitant, but I know that we're in good hands, and it's just that it's touching my history and my memories of I lived just down through there by the cable car. So for me, it was like waking up and seeing that. It was like, ooh, fun. But now that it's going to change, it's changing my memories. So I think that's what it is, more than anything.
We're gonna go to break in just a sec. But before we do, I want to ask you in one word. I'll give you 2 words each to sum up your stance on AI.
An amazing tool.
I'm trying to make it PC. Super scary.
Like it.
You can add any verse that you want.
Open to interpretation.
Yep.
In part 2, we're talking to Targ Patience, who's one of the thought leaders on AI here in Gibraltar. Looking forward to it, and we'll find out if he thinks also that it's super scary, as Paul says, or an amazing tool. Stick with us, citypulse@gbc.gi if you'd like to have your say. Welcome back to City Pulse, and welcome to Targ Patience, one of Gibraltar's thought leaders on artificial intelligence. Before we get into AI, Targ, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Turns out you are a vegan. We've just done a vegan.
I am no longer a vegan. I once was a vegan.
Okay. Thoughts on vegan cheese?
It's improved a lot over the years. At the time that I was vegan, it was seen as potentially an in-joke that no actual vegan would eat it because it was generally so disgusting. But I've had some delicious vegan cheeses since, so it's definitely improved over time.
My friend. You are
Trained
very
in the
diplomatic.
art.
Personally, it's not quite there yet. I think, as in vegan meats are great. There's lots of like desserts and stuff that are great, but the cheese just doesn't quite do it.
Some of the soft cheeses are amazing. I was mentioning vegan cream cheese tastes indistinguishable from dairy, but unfortunately it's much worse for you.
Question, are we on the brink of a revolution? And I mean from the point of AI, not veganism.
I think very much a revolution is underway. There's a video clip that's quite old of Jeremy Paxman interviewing David Bowie that I've seen doing the rounds recently, where he was asked about the internet. And how much of an impact will this have on humanity? And David Bowie is very prescient and says, I think this is going to change everything. It's going to change how art is distributed, how people communicate. It's going to have an impact we can't imagine on society. And I think very much the strides we've made in artificial intelligence is a revolution that's perhaps bigger than the internet was. But we're very much in the early stages of it.
AI has existed for decades. It's just we've only sort of woken up to it recently, right?
As a wider society, yes. So it's the study of artificial intelligence has really been around since the 1950s. So there's the famous Turing test, which was developed by the great mathematician Alan Turing, who was one of the mathematicians that broke the Enigma machine at Bletchley Park in World War II. Invented the Turing test, which was designed to determine whether a machine could pass off as a human from its behaviors and interaction. What happened a few years ago is that ChatGPT was released, and it was a huge stride forward. And for anyone using those sort of chatbots today, looking at how that behaved, it would seem, quite basic. But it was such a revolution at the time. And I think what's particularly fascinating is the exponential growth in complexity and capability of these machines. And that's really what brings people to feel that it may be very scary. And there's certainly a lot of fear that gets communicated around.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Really? No, I think that's kind of like where the scary comes from.
Fear of misuse as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a lot of things that are going to be affected by AI in the future. I mean, many of our jobs will be gone. I don't know what it'll be replaced with, because when we've looked at other industries, there's always new jobs created. This time round, it's harder to find those jobs because the low-aligning, low-skilled, simple, everyday, mundane jobs, those are disappearing. You don't need assistants or secretaries or anything like that. You can have an AI doing it.
Yeah, I was going to actually quick fire, sort of reel off some job roles to you and see what you thought, whether they were sort of under threat or not. We'll get to that.
Sure.
But in my sort of research for this, what I've done is sort of, listened and read up on various experts, and it's kind of like slightly unsettling that some are optimistic, some are pessimistic, and then you seem to sort of sit somewhere in between. You seem to have quite a balanced outlook, and that's why I like you.
Forever the diplomat. I think we're very much at a crossroads. I mean, if we look at the Industrial Revolution, right, I think it's something that's quite comparable. That changed the world really substantially. And at first, it was very difficult. And I'm sure a lot of people had quite a difficult time as society and the world readapted to a world where automation and these machines came about. And we're in those early stages of this, the unknown. I think an important thing to clarify early on is that AI is very much an umbrella term. So artificial intelligence, you can think of like the term medicine, right? Medicine encompasses everything from cough mixture to brain surgery. And artificial intelligence really captures a lot of different technologies, from machine learning, which is just machines learning over time and data sets, deep learning, which is a lot more complex programming, bigger data sets, looking at patterns within those. Computer vision, which is the ability to see things. We interact with this on a regular basis, sometimes without knowing. Now when you sign up for a bank account, you're scanning your face, you're scanning your passport. That's all artificial intelligence, computer vision. But the thing that most people are familiar with is large language models and generative AI. So this is where you're producing videos, images, or text. So ChatGPT is probably the most famous.
ChatGPT, we've got Grok and
Gemini, Anthropic Claude. There are many
Perplexity.
different models. Perplexity,
Yeah.
and
all evolving and improving.
Competing.
Day in, day out, it feels.
Absolutely, it's essentially an arms race. And so what's really interesting is, as you mentioned, there are a number of voices who have expressed concern and rung alarm bells and said this could be very dangerous. There were a group of researchers called the AI Futures Foundation, I believe, who published a paper relatively recently called AI 2027, which was a sort of a forecast of a path that humanity could take, and two angles of that that could lead to the extinction of mankind, which on the outset sounds very sensational.
Don't say that smiling.
There we go.
Don't say that with a chuckle, Targ. You're scaring me.
Well,
There's a reason, eh?
Well, it's not a prediction. It was merely outlining a potential path that things could take to raise that warning, and the disastrous route focused on a continued sort of race to become more and more advanced in your AI, because these things are being used in a military context, in a political context, and so there's a fear of if one group of people says we're going to be responsible and we're going to pump the brakes until we understand this, and we're going to move at a more sensible pace, that others may not. And so the AI 2027 paper explores this concept of the United States being in a race with China to not supersede, not allow themselves to be superseded by one another's technologies. But going back to what we said at the beginning, I think we're very much at a crossroads where we can decide how we move forward with these technologies, but the most important thing is to understand what they are and to learn about them.
You mentioned the potential dangers of AI. Dangerous was the hole I fell through, actually. We've got some video footage of it. This was pretty scary. That's just a picture.
Where's this going?
Wow.
I know.
Whacked your back on the way down.
You had to be there.
You're back.
So just a simple sort of, image to video kind of thing.
Well, again, it speaks to how quickly this has been evolving, because just a year ago, AI video would be something with, 7 fingers, weaving through one another.
Everything everywhere all at once.
And now these videos can be indistinguishable.
Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Will Smith eating spaghetti, and I think a hamburger as well.
But I think, look, you're talking through, and I agree. It's an umbrella term, and there's a lot of scaremongering. No? But when you use language like arms race, and also we see how fast it's going. You can't help but feel, how do I parent through this? How do I teach through this? Never mind about how do I keep employed. So I think there's a lot of kind of existential questions around it.
Yeah.
No? And I think you can regulate all you want, but if you're a parent thinking, how do I try and kind of parent my child not to use it? Es casi imposible.
Speaking of education and citypulse@gbc.gi if you'd like to have your say, if you've got any questions to chuck Targ's way. We've had an email from Derek. Will AI in future affect these school examinations like GCSE and A-level? He says, I personally feel overall AI is expected to drive a shift towards more adaptive, fair and skills-focused examinations, but this will depend on how educational systems integrate and regulate AI technologies. How do the panel feel?
I think that's absolutely a very insightful view that's taken there. Education certainly has to adapt as a result of this. So when I was at school, when we were at school, you get set an essay you may need to write, and there's been a problem of AI generating essays for people on a few prompts. It happens. There are tools that have been developed for teachers to try to determine whether something's written by AI. As it's developed, those have become less and less accurate. So
does that exist in Gibraltar?
Well, we have to take initiative and know our students. So from day one, you know what they can write. A true teacher knows their student and knows how they write, what they're going to do, and if they've had help or if they've had help from AI. Because the word, I don't know, magnificent is not as common for some of these students. But, I mean, it's some of these complex words that not even I know in DT that they'll pull up into an essay and you're like, AI? And they're like, no, never. But even the AI checkers can't check it. It'll say that it's 100% human. You're like, that's not true. This kid can't write.
Because kids can hack their way around it as well. And if an essay finishes with, in conclusion,
recaps,
or has triple cadence as well, that's one thing that's always a giveaway.
I believe the United States Constitution was pumped through one of these tools, which said it was 98% sure to be written by AI. So not accurate. But I think, going back to the point about the parenting challenge, equally with the education point, it's not dissimilar to the internet. Right. When we were growing up, there was a lot less guardrails on the internet. It was very much more a Wild West. I remember the early computer encyclopedias that we had, and there was a problem at the time where kids would turn in homework that had been copied and pasted from Magna Carta.
I did that. But there is one thing that has to be said. With education, you've always got to think that the internet was meant to be an assist to the student to learn and self-initiative and all of that self-guided study. AI should be there for that as well. I know some models already have a study version to it. It's when it's being misused. And that's the worry for me in every sense, not just education. I mean, the more people misuse it, the more they lead you along. And then you get this. It's like interviews for applications. They get AI checked through to check who the best candidates are, but you miss that humanity.
Targ,
Things like that.
Amy says that people not believing anything that they see online, as in on videos on social media and stuff, she's pretty scared about that. Also mentions, you know, the environmental damages as well. But yeah, social media's just flooded these days, isn't it? With it, there was one going around about a month or two ago of I don't know if you guys saw it, of a deer bursting through the window of like a cabin bathroom.
I did see that, yeah.
I was like, and honestly, like, I mean, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, but it fooled me.
Yeah,
you know,
and it goes back to that point of education is key, and so we need to be more aware and more cautious. So earlier we were discussing, backstage we were talking about spam emails, and so there's been an education process where people have had to learn, and particularly that's been a challenge for the older generation, to differentiate something that is legitimate or fake. You know, there's the stereotype of the Nigerian prince who needs to send you millions of dollars that have been locked away. But they get more sophisticated, and that's the really important thing, particularly when it comes to anything that's important, anything going viral, and anything that relates to news or politics or invokes an emotional response. It's really important to be aware that that can't necessarily be trusted and try to find other sources to verify information from.
I have a work colleague in Radio Gibraltar. She's a mother of 2 teenagers, and she says that her teenager comes home every day from school with, you know, a new viral video or whatever, and her sort of just her go-to response to absolutely any content is probably AI. That is just her now automatic go-to response to anything. I think probably AI. Which is kind of scary, no?
But it's true. It's the safe approach.
Yeah.
But it's also worrying because that cynicism is also, you know, fueling a lot of change in political discourse, where there's a lot of separation between objective reality and truth, and what people would prefer to be objective reality or truth. And so that cynicism, where anything that doesn't align to your inherent biases gets dismissed as fake news, can also spell an issue. If we can't all agree on a shared reality, it causes a massive problem generally for the social contract. And these are, I think we're talking a lot about the risks and the concerns more broadly around AI. And I think in the Gibraltar context, it's very interesting because you've mentioned job losses. And what's really interesting is that for a long time there was a concern that the first jobs that would be lost to automation would be the more mundane jobs. But what we're seeing are designers, lawyers, teachers, computer programmers, these very technical specialist
TV
skills.
presenters?
Yep.
Well,
wait,
AI
videos getting prompted, but it would lose the human element. But
for now.
So a lot of these more sophisticated roles are those that are more immediately challenged, and it's a key thing in that education is how to use these tools responsibly. As I use AI a lot as an assistant, but the concern is if firms start to say, well, we don't need junior people in these roles because we can have an AI do it. If we imagine that in the context of computer developers, coders, we don't need junior developers because we've got some seniors and they can use these tools. Well, then in a relatively short period of time, when those senior developers retire, nobody knows how to code anymore. And so that's very important. Bringing that to the Gibraltar context, instead of this concern about sort of mass unemployment that on a wider scale the world is concerned about and grappling with the potential risk of, Gibraltar is a small piece of land. We're finite in the number of people that we have here and can have here. And so these tools used responsibly and effectively can allow businesses to scale in their productivity, certainly in the near and medium term, in a much bigger way. The important thing is the sensible and effective deployment of artificial intelligence, And there's a lot of support from the government of Gibraltar is looking at that very closely. So I work in my capacity through Gantt very closely with Minister Feetham, and Gibraltar Finance have been doing a lot of work with an AI telephone service to give tax advice, which obviously makes interacting with the government significantly more efficient. We all know that there are many aspects of dealing with government that can be more efficient, and so this is just the start of that. Next week, we have an AI conference taking place at the Sunborn, a business AI conference, and I know that today Gibraltar Finance met with a number of people, and they have 5 youth ambassadors for AI who are going to be attending that conference. So instead of trying to regulate this space to say what you can and can't do, which doesn't really make sense for this very rapidly developing space, Gibraltar is very much focused on that education point of understanding what these tools are and how they can be effectively and responsibly deployed to benefit business rather than having fewer people and more machines, but how we can grow in ways that we otherwise may not be able to.
I mean, that sort of half answers. We've had an anonymous email in asking whether there are any locally based firms, that set out to help businesses with AI.
So absolutely, there are a number of firms in Gibraltar that are focused on helping businesses to develop AI, including consultancies, some that are focused on education around AI, which are very, very useful. And obviously, it's been news recently. Pelagus Data Centres is planning to build a £1.8 billion AI data centre here in Gibraltar, which is aiming to start, I believe, in the end of 2027. That's going to create a lot of jobs locally, and obviously we'll have
The environment's shaking its head, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's having a heart attack.
So
With the lie.
the proposal was stated that they intend to be green energy, sustainable energy.
Yeah.
The maths on that is somewhat challenging if we look at things like solar or wind.
Yeah.
So potentially that may be another energy source, but the key point is that it will be energy independent from Gibraltar's grid. So it will have its own energy production. But this is one of the key challenges, is that AI is
not good in any way.
Very energy intensive.
But it does show, I think, look, things like investment, the examples that you're talking about now, and how Gibraltar is investing in education, the conference that's coming up next month, it does show that we are, I think you're right, I think Gibraltar is always a really good place for trialing out new technologies, looking at things like regulation, testing things out, and seeing if we can generate an opportunity from this technology as well. So something like the data center, okay, environmentally, we'll have to see how that pans out. But the fact that it's going to be here is amazing.
Yeah.
And also things that from the conference, I think there's going to be a lot of people, senior thinkers in Gibraltar will start to look at how they implement it, the technology across their businesses. But in my experience, with my kind of work, and I do communications and media, I've been using it more and more to create content and to collaborate and make ideas come alive. So using AI in a more creative way as well, because there's a lot of doomsday and a lot of scaremongering, but there's so much opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
There's
Sorry,
carry on.
It's to your original point that it's a tool set, and it's a new tool set to learn how to work with.
But it is, you go, oh my God, yeah, of course. If I was scaling my business, I would have maybe employed an assistant, whereas actually I probably don't now, and I use AI tools. So there is that real threat, and I do see it, and I do kind of shudder when I think about it. That entry-level job seems to be the one that is going. But we'd have to see how that plays out.
It's a big one, is artificial intelligence, and so many developments, being led and driven by the big tech heads and the sort of the big thinkers, if you like. But what about the man and woman on the street? What do we think about artificial intelligence here in Gibraltar?
The same as has happened with all innovations in human history, everything has its place, and AI will undoubtedly mean that the human race will progress even further than it has already. And it's an interesting concept, but it is a concept that needs to be clearly understood by those who run it, and it has to be clearly tempered by the actual reality that the human mind can bring to it.
Potentially useful, potentially a little bit scary.
I think it could be useful as maybe like a search engine, but I think for creative purposes, mainly images or art or maybe music, I think I despise that idea.
Well, I can't really comment on AI because I don't know much about it. But if it's going to be an in thing, which is now the in thing, should I say, maybe we should have more knowledge of it, yes.
It's got advantages because it can simplify a lot of things, but at the same time, the negativities about it is it sort of stops you from being creative mentally as a human being. So it's artificial in a way. So you can't use your soul or your heart, especially in the arts.
Growing concerns about AI. I'm not really sure where it's going to take us in the next 1, 2, 3 years, but it's kind of unavoidable in a way. Every job seems to be using it. My job in marketing definitely uses a lot of it. Not sure what it's doing to the planet though.
Don't abuse it too much and don't overuse it, like, especially in terms of like music and all of that. We don't want AI bands becoming seriously popular on Spotify. We want that to stay with humans. Yeah, that's where I stand with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the two words that jumped out at me there were heartless and soulless, which you know is just you know human. So we're nearly running out of time. We still got quite a few sort of aspects and sort of areas of artificial intelligence to get through. So we'll sort of quick fire it-ish. Gibraltar in 10, 15 years, what will it look like from the point of view of AI?
That's a real crystal ball requirement. Looking at how rapidly AI has developed over the last 2 years and the changes that that's bringing in society, and as I said, the exponential change happening, I think it would be very foolish of me to make guesses of what in 10 years that's going to look like. I think the world in general will look very different, and that's likely to be driven by these innovations. I don't think I can reasonably give an answer to that question, I'm afraid.
Touché. Healthcare.
So healthcare is fascinating.
Healthcare is the area I personally am most positive about.
Yep. Yes. Well, one of the areas recently, antibiotics. We get most of our antibiotics from fungus and soil bacteria currently. Antibiotic resistance is a huge issue. AI has been able to develop novel antibiotics that not only act on antibiotic-resistant bacteria, but have been shown in tests to even evade the evolution to become resistant to them. Also in things like scans, so MRIs, identifying cancer, AI has proven much more effective at early detection. So I think healthcare is one of the areas we're already seeing and will increasingly see huge advancements as a result of AI.
Politics. Is democracy at risk?
Yes.
I think we can all very clearly see that democracy is in recession globally, and that is largely being driven by the internet and now AI. And this goes back to the point of being aware and education and questioning. We live in a true golden age of propaganda. Because with these AIs, the ability to capture information from social media on what people respond to, how they react, and how to communicate with them to achieve an outcome that they intend is unprecedented. We're not ready for that. So I think there's definitely a risk, and the biggest guardrail against that is education and awareness.
What about convenience? Things like self-driving cars. I mean, those are up and running in San Francisco.
So in my role in Gantt, my professional life, I work a lot in the crypto space and financial services. And there's a common challenge with everything automated in that you cannot regulate code. And the challenge with a self-driving car is who do you find accountable if that goes wrong and it kills somebody or it damages property? This is already happening. These issues are being faced. So Waygo is a company in San Francisco.
Yep.
Fascinating cars. But that automation will continue to improve. But it comes back to a very interesting challenge from a regulatory and legal perspective. How do we deal with those challenges of accountability?
And then perhaps the biggest one, the economy. That's kind of like a tricky one to analyze and sort of anticipate.
It really is, and again, I think that there will need to be a lot of thinking around our economic models. So we've had a period since World War II of capitalism really benefiting from its model of perpetual growth. We obviously live on a finite world, floating through the vacuum of space. As we move to a very different model, all economic models we've devised so far rely on production and consumption. If production is automated, we need a different model, and so that's where things like universal basic income are being explored. So I think there will be, again, the potential for profound impact on the economy.
Education, and maybe we could bring Paul in here. Where do we see it going? We've already touched on it, but
I think that we need to come to a realization that it needs to go hand in hand. We need to teach kids not just how to use AI, but how to benefit off of AI in a holistic and honest approach, rather than use it to lie to the teacher. And there's me reading a 4-page essay on, I don't know, Stalin, when it's nothing to do with Stalin. So it's one of those things. I think that they need to bring it back. We need to start teaching kids how to use it, because they're the next generation that will have it full throttle. They'll have it all there. And at the same time, we need legislation that kind of helps angle and direct, but it needs to not just be one country. JIB is not going to be able to regulate an entire AI world. But I mean, the bigger countries around the world, they need to start coming together and start realizing we have some moral issues within AI that need directing and kind of fixing before it carries on growing and it's out of our control, which it already is, let's be honest.
The horse has bolted.
Yeah. Even the experts say that they don't understand what AI is doing. It talks to itself.
Well, that's very much the challenge. It acts as something of a black box. So you have an input layer, and then you have what are called transformer layers. And essentially, as I said, it's prediction, it's mathematics. These are layers of calculations to guess what the next word should be, being refined through up to 100 different layers. What happens within those, we're unable to determine.
Dave, any final comments?
None from me.
Tell me something hopeful. Tell me something nice, optimistic, positive. This is what I'm going to bet on.
Yes.
Go.
So I think for Gibraltar, we have a huge opportunity. We're moving much more quickly than I think might be expected of such a small jurisdiction in terms of thinking about how to drive forward education, how to embrace that technology in a way that's productive for the jurisdiction. And I generally have hope for the inherent goodness of man to persevere through the challenges that this, as many other challenges, have presented to us.
Targ Patience of the Gibraltar Association for New Technologies, thank you so much for, well, your insight and your time. It's been
absolute pleasure.
A pleasure. And Paul and Dave, thank you as always. I am knackered after that, I'll be honest. But thanks for watching. It's been, like I say, a real pleasure tonight on City Pulse. City Pulse back every Monday at 9 o'clock on GBC. Catch you same time next week. Good night.